my life has been very peaceful lately, but I don't always feel comfortable in that peace and that quiet. And sometimes I feel like I have to create problems or I have to create chaos because for so much of my life I felt so comfortable in that chaos and that constant mind chatter that now, having overcome that for the most part and just feeling like this peace can be quite uncomfortable, and it's almost like boring at times. And I'd love to know if you've had an experience like this or if this happens to you. It's almost kind of feeling like I'm in my grandma era, or just, I don't know, just like my unproblematic era. Okay, and I feel really Gen Z for using that verbiage, but it's really what it is. Like, just being in this part of my life where, like, in the past, I would really drag problems along and I would create problems and I would kind of like feed into like gossip and stories that the mind would create. And it's almost like now I catch myself doing that and I'm almost like, wait, I think this is just me trying to keep myself entertained because there's really no problem right now. And I think that's, a little bit of that toxicity that is sticking around from my old ways and my old life before I dove so deeply into spirituality and reality creation and mysticism. And it was always just being so involved in the human game and like really believing everything that was happening and like really believing that there were all of these problems around me that I had to solve. And so coming out of that and realizing that there is no problem was it was very kind of shocking, and it was a huge ego death for me. But I think now, as I'm like kind of more acclimated to these new truths and this new peace, it's really just feeling like sometimes I don't know what to do with myself if there isn't something going on around me that I feel that I need to fix or that I feel that I need to change, And one thing I can mention in this way is that I used to move around a lot, and this year I decided that I would stay in the same city for at least a year. I signed a year lease, and I had already been in this city for a few months, so it's actually going to be even more than a year, maybe close to like a year and a half. And for me, that's huge because the only time I've really lived somewhere for like a long time that was my decision was in university, and obviously that was because I was going to school in a particular city. But obviously, having graduated now, I've graduated years ago, and so now, going from like kind of moving around city to city and wanting to explore to really being like, you know what, I'm gonna settle down at least for like the short midterm for now in this place. It's kind of different for me, and I find myself in these moments of craving that adventure and craving like new experiences and wanting to move again. But what I noticed just from doing that for years, moving around and trying new things and everything, is that it's great and I love it, and I definitely could see myself in in a similar chapter like that in the future. But I also think that there's something so peaceful about just being in one place and like having my home and having my space, having my routine. And so that's really been something that I've been getting used to. And it's been positive, but there have certainly been challenges because I would say that I was kind of a semi-nomadic person. Like, I really liked to move around. I really liked to spontaneously. I'm definitely more of a type B person, and I'm very spontaneous with my life. And there are still so many experiences that I want to have, but I also know that I have that craving for stability and like for, creating a family and having all of those things that, some would argue are really the most important things in life, and the people in your life and the community you build and everything. Being close to my family in this city as well is something that's important to me, and that's what I didn't really have when I did start moving around after graduating. And yeah, so it's really gotten me thinking a lot about that, and there was such a big moment of just me feeling proud of myself when I did sign that lease like a couple months ago, because it was such a big step, and it was me kind of letting go of that fear of commitment. A lot of times when I feel uncomfortable or I have new experiences with people and I'm like allow myself to, God forbid, be perceived. Sometimes if that doesn't go the way that I imagine it should go, I genuinely just want to like disappear and go somewhere new. Like I just want to move away or, escape. It's really like maybe an avoidant type of response. And I did have a lot of those tendencies. I probably still have a few. But yeah, there are definitely moments where I just feel like I want to leave and I want to go somewhere new and I want to start fresh, because to me, going somewhere new, whether that be moving or like, going for a vacation or whatever, to me, it's almost like a fresh start and like a reset and a way to escape whatever inconvenience I'm in. But obviously that's not super convenient. It's not very responsible, especially like financially or just in terms of wanting to build something long term. And for me, community is something that I really want to build, hence why I even, have been building this community on YouTube, which has been amazing. But yeah, I just find myself definitely falling into that. And I was talking to a friend about this the other day, but there are also just certain things that I visualize for myself in the future. And at one point on this channel, I talked a lot about manifestation. And I guess when I visualize these things, I'm almost kind of feeling this pressure to make them happen, in the sense of, okay, what steps do I need to take to get one step closer? You know what I mean? Because a result, something that you want to achieve, doesn't just happen. You do have to take inspired action and those little steps to make it happen. And I've been feeling pressure in that sense to make some of those things happen that I visualize. But again, that involves kind of, I don't know, I guess it just involves looking into the unknown, and it involves being in that, being in that uncomfortable space of not knowing what's next. And after having gone through that for months this year, I was relieved to finally find like or be in a situation where it is stable and I feel good and I know what the next day is going to look like for the most part. But I guess this can all be summed up to the saying that the grass is always greener on the other side, because when I'm in these chapters where I'm moving around and I'm having new experiences and meeting new people, and it's something that's happening very rapidly, I do crave that stability. I crave that apartment. I crave that, those friends that I can call up and just have a movie night with and whatever. But then when I have that, I almost crave the opposite, which is to be out and about and to be traveling and to be, doing spontaneous things that I've never done before. And I mean big things, not just little things in my day-to-day life, because I would say I'm a spontaneous person in general. I'm very intuitive in the way that I go about my life, my everyday life. But yeah, I guess that's really what I wanted to talk about in this video. It's not so much really giving advice here. I mostly was just talking about my own experience with change and routine. It's kind of like finding myself in the calmness. I almost feel that I need to create chaos. And yeah, so I guess it's like being in this chapter of peace and quiet and predictability in a way, to a certain extent, okay? Because I feel like I don't work a 9 to 5. My life is very different from a lot of people's, so even that, in a sense, is less predictable than, what most people do, which is working a 9 to 5. But, yeah, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. But I guess I just want to put this out there, and hopefully this resonates with you. Let me know how you've been doing. Let me know what chapter you're in and how that's been feeling for you and what that's been looking like. But yeah, just always remember the concept of impermanence, which gets me through every day and every moment, that everything is fleeting, nothing is permanent. That's the good and the bad. So enjoy the good moments. Be strong through the hard times, and know that you are protected and that everything will be okay. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'm sorry I've been away. It's been a crazy week, but I've missed you very much, and I'm glad I'm back. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed my little spiel. Subscribe to the channel for more spirituality and self-mastery content. And don't forget to leave me a comment down below. I will see you next time. Bye.